Well, I'm going to be using these jazz pants. They're tight enough in the hip and they're also high enough in the rise. They're pretty good in the leg, so they're not actually falling down, and they're high enough in the crotch. Pretty good fit. What I don't like about them is that seam line. That seam line is sitting in a bad place for my tummy. If I turn side on, I'm not having a good tummy day today, so great day to show you. That seam line's cutting around the fullness of my tummy and giving me some discomfort. So I want to lower my join line to below my belly. I'm going to pin that join line and I'm going to curve it under my belly. Make your pins as smooth a line as you can. Like I said, mine will go under my belly, up to my high hip. And then luckily enough, I like that rise. That seam line's pretty good, so I'm following it all the way around to the centre back. The rise is really good. Then we lay that out on the table. There's my seam line. It's my exact seam line. So remember, I have to allow seam allowance, however much that's going to be. Cut through the waistband that you don't want. Remember, you're also going to be cutting through some thicker seams, possibly some elastic. So just be patient and careful. And remembering your seam allowance, start to cut around the new seam line that will be the join of your waistband. I'm only allowing about 6 millimeters of allowance because I'm going to be doing this on the overlocker. Again, I've hit another tough seam. I'm going to have to be a little bit careful to cut through that seam. And then I want to make sure everything is laid out flat. I'm going to pin the top part together because I'm going to cut around that flipped over side as a template. And that's going to give me the same curve on the other side of the front of my pants. Make sure you're just cutting the front, you haven't got the back as well. Gets a little easier now because I've hit that seam line that I want to follow around the back. Remembering, of course, I'm going to follow that seam line as close as I possibly can because I want to ensure that I've got seam allowance. And that does mean I'm going to hit some of the tough bits. I think I hit the fabric tag as well. I have to really get through that. And just make it all the way around until we've hit a complete circle and we're almost free. And there we have it. We've got our cut down garment with the new join line ready to attach our waistband. Of course, we do need to do some checks. Using the crotch point to make sure your pants are fully aligned and sitting flat. Fold them in half and just check that both sides, we're doing the back at the moment, are perfectly in alignment. Mine has just a smidgen of one side higher. I'm going to go in and cut that, shave a little off. Check it again. Just a little bit more on one side. And this time, yes, both sides are peeling away at the same time. My alignment is good across the back. Flipping over to the front, I'm going to use the crotch point and the side seams to line things up. And I'm going to make sure my underbelly curve is symmetrical. So now we are ready to put the waistband on. However, there are other garments where there's not enough room to cut a new join line. What then? As you can see from this pair, they're very short on me. If we go close in, extremely short, there's a waistband involved as well. So I had to cut through, unpick all of this seaming, and then all of that 1 centimetre of cover stitch. When I'd done that, I could very, very carefully cut along the exact seam line. And by undoing that cover stitch, you can see the pile in the corner there. It was extremely painful to unpick all of that. It gave me my 1 centimetre extra that I needed for my seam allowance when I join my waistband and my garment. So sometimes you do have to do a little bit more work to ensure you have enough fabric to join things up. It just depends on your body shape, your body type, how tall you are, and what garment you're dealing with. Almost all the way around. Just take your time when you're doing this. You don't want to make mistakes. And now hopefully, now I do have a pesky tag. How irritating. Why do they put them in? Sensory sensitives hate these things. So that's getting unpicked. And now I can see that I've got that extra bit for seam allowance. And now we've prepped the garment with a new join line. We're ready to sew it all together in episode 5. Don't forget to follow, subscribe, and enjoy your comfy life.